Opening. Welcome to your daily market news briefing for Monday, August 27th, 2026. I'm your host, and here is where things stand today. Nvidia delivered a monster Q2 earnings report that more than doubled year over year, driven by record data center sales, and the stock rallied as the earnings call began. AWS and Nvidia announced a deal for 2 million additional GPUs and next-generation infrastructure for agentic and physical AI, with Yahoo Finance framing Nvidia as looking more like the central bank of AI. Salesforce also posted a significant earnings blowout with Q2 results and revenue topping estimates, sending the stock jumping 11% after hours. But the macro backdrop is anything but calm. The Fed's preferred inflation gauge accelerated in July, causing U.S. equity indices to slip. A bond sell-off is rattling the stock market, and historical precedent is being cited for what investors should do next. On the corporate front, Meta agreed to a $18 billion settlement over a teen social media trial, yet the stock rose as the major overhang was addressed. Retail faces mounting pressure, with Nike hitting a 10-year low on an analyst downgrade. And in healthcare, Revolution Medicines won FDA approval for a pancreatic cancer pill. Across the tape, 2,674 symbols generated 10,005 signals, with 36 bearish versus just 14 bullish. Let's get to the details. Segment 1, Nvidia, Q2 earnings blowout and AI dominance intensifies. Nvidia's Q2 results were nothing short of spectacular. The company reported earnings that more than doubled year over year, with record data center sales serving as the primary driver. MT Newswires led with the headline, Nvidia's second quarter results more than double amid record data center sales. The stock rallied as the earnings call began, a move that speaks to just how much the market had already loaded the expectation, yet still found more than enough upside to reward it. The ecosystem is broad and deep. The earnings drew references across INC, AMD, KKR, BAM, APO, GS, BLK, BX, and AVGO, the financial and industrial complex all orbiting the same gravitational source. Amazon's AWS division went further, announcing a deal to deliver 2 million additional GPUs and next-generation infrastructure for agentic and physical AI, per Globe Newswire. This is not just about chip sales, it's about the build-out of the entire AI infrastructure stack. Yahoo Finance ran a feature describing Nvidia as more like the central bank of AI, a framing that captures how the company has evolved from a hardware manufacturer into the monetary authority of an entire technological paradigm. Not every voice was celebratory, though. One analyst rated Nvidia sell despite crushing earnings, a reminder that even the best execution can face a bid-ask spread in analyst sentiment. Another analyst countered that it's hard to argue that Nvidia's financing is circular, defending the economics of the AI build-out cycle. Separately, Samsara IoT received coverage for its new Fuel Command Center, and Apple was flagged as one of the most profitable businesses in the world with a $366 per share one-year target. Meanwhile, Micron MU received a prediction calling for $1,300 by the end of 2026, a figure that would represent an extraordinary reassignment of its addressable market. NVDA and AMD insiders were also in the news, with an SEC filing showing an AMD insider sold shares worth roughly $7.9 million, and Jim Cramer weighed in on Intel's government stake. Goldman Sachs and Intel backed the same AI video startup, adding another thread to the AI infrastructure narrative. Segment 2, Salesforce, cloud demand strong and guidance upgraded. Salesforce was the other undeniable earnings standout of the day. Multiple outlets confirmed that fiscal Q2 adjusted earnings and revenue both topped estimates. Investing.com, Barron's.com, Saks, and MT Newswires all carried the story. The stock jumped approximately 11% after hours, fueled by a strong earnings beat paired with upgraded guidance, the kind of combination that tells investors not only is the company doing well right now, but management sees a continued uptick ahead. The secondary metrics confirmed the positive move. FDS data showed CRM rising alongside the broader market, and the uprated outlook was the catalyst that transformed a solid report into a market-moving event. In an era where cloud software demand is often questioned, Salesforce is signaling that the demand side remains strong and that the enterprise software cycle is far from exhausted. Segment 3: Inflation Gauge Accelerates, Bond Sell-Off Rattles Markets. On the macro side, the picture was less reassuring. The Fed's preferred inflation gauge accelerated in July, and the market reacted with characteristic speed. MT Newswires and Reuters both reported that U.S. equity indices, GSPC, SPX, IXIC, were broadly impacted. Reuters ran the headline trading day, "Hot Inflation Cools Sentiment," capturing how macro forces can quickly overshadow micro-level winners. Motley Fool added context with a piece on the bond sell-off, noting that the bond sell-off is rattling the stock market and that historical precedent is being cited to help investors figure out what to do. When bond yields move, every valuation model in the stock market gets recalibrated, especially for growth and AI names whose cash flows lie far in the future. This created a headwind that colored the entire trading day, even as individual stocks like Nvidia and Salesforce delivered headline-grabbing results. The tension here is structural. Strong corporate earnings and AI enthusiasm on one side, accelerated inflation and rising rate expectations on the other. It is the classic tug-of-war between growth and value, and the bond market is currently winning. Segment 4: Meta's $18 billion settlement. Stress relief for the overhang. Meta made a significant corporate development move. The company agreed to an $18 billion settlement to resolve a U.S. trial over teen addiction, as reported by The Guardian and covered by IBD. The settlement addressed what multiple headlines called a major overhang and outlined major changes to Facebook and Instagram. The market's reaction was telling. Despite the massive $18 billion payout, Meta stock rose. The logic is straightforward. When a liability looms over a company at an indeterminate level, uncertainty is the enemy. By setting a known number, $18 billion, and mapping out the required changes, Meta essentially converted an open-ended risk into a closed balance sheet item. The stock rose on that stress relief. Separately, Snap was sued by Pennsylvania over addictive features and child safety concerns, underscoring that the sector-wide legal headwinds continue to build even as Meta negotiates its exit. Pins also appeared in the ecosystem, reflecting the ongoing scrutiny of social media platforms on youth safety. Segment 5: Retail Under Pressure, Nike Hits 10-Year Low, Dollar Store's Earnings Spotlight. The retail and consumer segment was under significant stress. Nike and KE stock hit a 10-year low following an analyst downgrade that cited retail footwear concerns. Per Motley Fool, DKS also came in at a 10-year low, and LOW and DEC were flagged as bearish, reflecting sector-wide softness in footwear and sporting goods retail. Beyond Nike, the dollar store segment was in earnings spotlight. Dollar Tree DLTR gained, but its strategy was under scrutiny at barons.com, with WMP, DG, XRT, and Dash referenced. Dollar General DG, 5 below 5, and Target TGT were also noted, painting a picture of a sector where value retail is in favor but no one has yet landed on a clearly winning strategy. Beyond the consumer staples, EQB posted Q3 adjusted earnings that rose but missed fact-set estimates, even as revenue jumped 27%. GoDaddy GDDY weakened, in part attributed to NVDA-related sentiment, a reminder of the gravitational pull Nvidia exerts on even unrelated names. Atlantic American received a NASDAQ notice over delinquent filings, and Bath and Body Works BBWI Q2 earnings were in the mix with Amazon, NVDA, and Alder referenced. Segment 6: Healthcare and Biotech, FDA approval for pancreatic cancer pill. Revolution Medicines RVMD won FDA approval for a pancreatic cancer pill, a development with implications that ripple across the broader oncology landscape. Barons.com carried the story with a headline "What it means for the stock," referencing MRK, mRNA, and LE, showing that the approval touches a wide swath of oncology. InTouch Insight announced Q2 2026 financial results via CNW Group. A healthcare CEO partnering with Costco outlined Medicare offerings on Yahoo Finance video, reflecting the ongoing convergence of retail and healthcare distribution channels. Segment 7, Technical Signals, Bearish Skew Persists. Across 10,778 analyzed signals from 2,674 symbols, the technical picture was lopsided bearish, 36 bearish versus just 14 bullish. The 5 top bullish signals, RFAI, NWOW, SKY, RFAIU, and BTCT, all flagged strong momentum up with a score of 1. The top bearish signals were dominated by overextension concerns. RFAIU and RFAI both flagged potential overextension, as was BTOG and DAICW, while MVIS carried an overbought territory call. The 36-to-12 ratio tells a clear story, even among names showing strong momentum. The technical community sees elevated risk. And NKE, low, DKS, and DEC were particularly bearish in the retail and footwear space. Segment 8. Other headlines and ecosystem movements. Solowin AXG launched an AI infrastructure division per MT Newswires, extending the AI buildout narrative into new players. Eng2 announced a finance leadership change. Nvidia crushed earnings, but analysts diverged sharply, with one calling it a sell and another defending the financing, while ecosystem names like Google, Goog, Anth.pvt, Oppi.pvt, and AMD were woven through the coverage. Apple continued to draw coverage as a high-profit business at $366/share. Visa launched a unified card-present payment platform for global merchants. Dollar stores remained in the spotlight with 2 stocks in buy zones. Jim Cramer weighed in on Intel's government stake, and Goldman Sachs plus Intel co-funded an AI video startup. Sign off. So here is the world you are walking into on Monday, August 27, 2026. Nvidia's Q2 earnings more than doubled year-over-year with record data center sales. The stock rallied as the call began, and AWS committed to 2 million additional GPUs, with Yahoo Finance calling Nvidia the central bank of AI. Salesforce posted an 11% after-hours jump on a strong beat and upgraded guidance. Meta agreed to an $18 billion teen settlement and rallied on the stress relief. But the macro backdrop is tense. The Fed's preferred inflation gauge accelerated in July, bond yields are rattling equities, and analysts are citing historical precedent for what comes next. Retail is under pressure. Nike hits a 10-year low, DKS and DEC also at 10-year lows, while dollar stores face strategy questions. Revolution Medicines won FDA approval for a pancreatic cancer pill. Technical signals across 10,778 are 36 bearish versus 14 bullish with overextension concerns on RFAI, RFAIU, BTOG, DAICW, and MVIS. Solowin launches an AI division. GoDaddy withers on Nvidia sentiment. EQB misses estimates despite 27% revenue growth. Apple draws $366 targets, and VC unifies its card-present platform. The market tells 2 stories at once, a magnificent AI and cloud software earnings theme at the center, running straight into inflation warnings, bond market volatility, and extreme technical caution. Thanks for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, stay informed. Sign off. This has been your market news briefing for Monday, August 27, 2026.